Tavares.
Right in the butt?
What?
No.
Less than a minute now.
Tool time for 200.
This term for a long-handled gardening tool can also mean an immoral pleasure seeker. Ken?
What's a hoe?
No.
Spell garbage.
Garbitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's Monk Dan, and I'm back here streaming. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks for joining the show. If you could, hit the like button, send me some comments, and if you have not done so, go ahead and subscribe, baby. Welcome back, man. Today we are covering chapter 3 of Casanova. I didn't forget about Casanova. This was a really good chapter. I really enjoyed this one. It was straight to the point. The title, man, of the title of today's show is Bellino, Teresa, or both. All right, chapter 3 title is in the book is called Bellino. All right, just a quick, just an update. How about that? No, not an update. Just a brief synopsis of this chapter, and then I'll get a little bit more in depth about the chapter. So check it. So the chapter opens up with Casanova being excommunicated, if you will, by one of the priests, if you will. I don't know if he was the priest. Let me get his actual title. A cardinal. So I don't know how far up in the ranks that is. So he's being excommunicated from, because Casanova at this time, once again, he's still in that, I don't want to say probation stage of becoming a priest, but he's in that process of becoming a priest. And this Cardinal Aquaviva, some of these names are very hard for me to pronounce. But anyway, he summons Casanova, and he's like, hey, man, I heard about this scandal of you getting married. You gotta go. We can't have that. We can't have that shit around here, right? And so the cardinal he excommunicates him from the process of what he's doing, and so he sends him off to another place called the name of the city is very difficult for me to pronounce. It's Constantinople. Please forgive me about that. Constantinople. I cannot pronounce that. But anyway, so the cardinal sends him there. And on the way to this place, man, Casanova is one of those people who once again, I should also let you know, he's a very young man at this age. He's a very young man. He's about between 18 and 20, somewhere around that age. Very young man, and he's always finding himself in interesting situations. This is the situation that he finds himself in. So, so he's off to this journey. The priest, I shouldn't say priest, the cardinal sends him on a journey. And the cardinal sends him off, not just like, you're banished, but he gives him money, and he's preparing him off to this journey. So he's not just broke. So the cardinal gives him money. And so now he has to, board with his family, right? He has to live somewhere. And so he meets this interesting family. And let me get the words how they describe this family for you. Okay, here we go. I'll just read a lot of this passage, so bear with me on this one. And this shouldn't be too long. But I'll get to why we're talking about that in just a second. So he reaches this city in Akano, in Ancano or Ancana. He lodges with his family, and they give the date February 25th, 1744. So he lodges. Let me just read it. I don't want to read too much to you. I just want to make it flowing, if you will. I'll just give you the brief synopsis. So he lodges with his family, and the family consists of a mom, two daughters, and Bellino. Bellino is a at this period, Bellino, or during this period, what they had was young boys being castrated, and Bellino was castrated, or allegedly castrated. I'll explain that in just a second. So Casanova is attracted to Bellino, but Casanova hints or senses that something's different about Bellino, and so he's he's pressing Bellino, he's pressing to figure out like what's different about you, and Casanova senses like, oh, okay, so you're not a real boy, you're a girl. And so he's pressing. And later he finds out that Bellino is not a boy. Bellino is a girl. And the reason why this girl, her name is Teresa, the reason why this girl dressed as a boy was to become a singer or singing of some sort. Quick backstory, side story. In this period, people of religion and people of music, they allowed for young boys to be castrated. And why? Because according to them, they wanted these young boys to have their vocals at a high pitch. So I'm not sure about they did label the voice levels. I think, you got the soprano, and they wanted these boys to keep their high pitch singing voices. So they would castrate, and the book said they castrated like no fewer than 4,000 boys a year. So this was a very common thing. And then we'll go more into it, some of the points that I wanted to talk about. And so you have this girl named Teresa. She wanted to sing. So at this time, they didn't allow women to sing. And so one of the guys that was castrated, who became a male, he found Teresa and trained her. And he noticed, hey, she had really good singing voice. She had a really good singing voice. And so he coached her and trained her, even had sex with her. He was a castrated man, and he had sex with her. I would disclose the age of this, but let's just say in those olden days, an old man and a young lady would have sex. That was a common thing in that day. So he found that Teresa's dad had died, and then he found that the family, Bellino was the actual boy, but he had died. So the castrated male found a way for Teresa to live under the name of Bellino and live with that family. And that's how it was, I guess, played out for Teresa to become Bellino and to sing. And then that's how Casanova comes along, and he discovers, something's different about you, right? And then he's trying, and eventually he gets to the truth, and he actually fucks. And he was still supposed to go to that city, Casanova, the sea cap, the city. So he has a whole bunch of adventures and shit. This dude is he's a guy that's going through a lot of adventures. But anyway, he has sex with her. He really likes her once again. He's always in love with somebody. And they end up meeting again because they got separated along the way. But eventually they separated. She goes off to another city, and she didn't have to dress as a boy. The city recognized women as singers, and so she decided to go off, and her life kind of takes off. And Casanova, which I recommend, I commend him for that one particular thing. He was like, you know what? Yeah, go off and just be successful, essentially. And Casanova is still going off and into his adventures, and he's still having fucking sex. I mean, this dude is fucking. He's experiencing a lot of sexual pleasures, if you will. But here we are. The title. The reason why I call it Bellino, Teresa, or both is because Casanova is a young man. And he's experiencing a lot of things that I have not experienced in terms of all of these sexual experiences. And I mean, he's fucking sisters, threesomes. He's fucking them. I mean, he's plucking these bitches off, he's fucking them, right? But there's this particular situation that keeps occurring and Casanova hasn't addressed it, which is, and I don't want to make the topic about homosexuality or transgenderism. I don't want it that way. But there may be some conversations about it. The reason why I'm saying it in this way is because this is an interesting scenario. So his previous scenarios, one experience he had was with a guy, another fellow abate. That's the term that they use, a young priest or whatever. That was one situation where it was a guy and a guy. And so, yeah, you can have that conversation about him being homosexual. Okay, cool. Then there's another situation. What was the second situation? Where he was off on his journey, but there was an individual who could pass as a girl or a boy, but I forgot the scenario, the situation on that one. But Casanova passed on it, but later he actually had sex with a female, but then after having sex with the female, he was thinking about that person, right? So now we have this one in chapter 3, Bellino, who is actually Teresa. The reason why I'm bringing this conversation up is because Casanova has to, I'm not going to say what he has to do. However, there needs to be some sort of clarity in his mind as a young guy on his position on how he wants to handle this. And the reason why I bring that up is because he made some comments that was contradictory to himself. And that's the only reason why I'm bringing it up. Because once again, I'm on the dark side. I'm a libertine, as one of the words that's defined in here. Man, look, if whatever you want to do is your choice, that's your freedom. However, there has to be some sort of clarity amongst the person like Casanova. And the reason being is because let's bring it up. Let's dive into the text. He makes some comments which is like brother, like you are performing these acts, but then you deny your experience, but you enjoy your experience. So that's the part I had to talk about. Let's see if I can get that for you. So initially he's attracted to Bellino. And initially he's attracted to Bellino. And let me get that part for you. Okay, so this is going to be on page 61. So if you are following along, and I'm going to start at the very bottom of the part here. So the man, a Spaniard in the service of the army, gave his name as Sancho Pico. He invites Casanova to listen to some music and offered to introduce him to an actress lodging in the inn. That's important right there. And introduces him to an actress. An actress. I didn't catch that when I read that. Wow, okay. Let me continue. The word actress roused my curiosity, Casanova confessed. Instead of an actress, he noticed a youth of indeterminate gender who struck him as ravishingly handsome and not more than 16 or 17 years old, who was dining with his family, his mother, brother, and a sister or two. Let me pause right here because that's something I didn't catch. And I didn't catch that earlier. Ooh, that's very important, man. So, and while I'm here, let me talk about it just for a quick second. So I told you that these priests, these musicians, and there was a musician, popular musician name that I'll talk about it in just a second. I want to keep the flow going. But since I'm here, I gave the hint away that Bellino is a girl who's disguised as a boy or a young adolescent, if you will, whatever you want to call it, or a young adult. But this is what's intriguing right here. The man, a Spaniard in the service of the army, gave his name as Sancho Pico, invited Giacomo or Casanova to listen to some music and offered to introduce him to an actress lodging at the inn. The word actress roused my curiosity, Casanova confessed. Instead of an actress, he noticed a youth of indeterminate gender who struck him as ravishingly handsome and not more than 16 or 17 years old, who was dining with his family, his mother, brother, and a sister or two. Let me continue. Maybe I'm just going through. I'm throwing myself off. The family came from Bologna, I believe that's how you pronounce that, and made a living by its talents. I cannot pronounce that word. Affability and lightheartedness made up for their poverty. So this was a poor family. And I'll skip down just a bit here. They were basically gypsies. That's how they described them. Casanova found himself among a sort of people who knew Inuit merchants. I cannot pronounce the word. Please forgive me. Merchants of art and seduction, gypsies, souls and thieves of thieves of the heart. So they were a poor family. And here it is. It was well-known castrato called Bellino who had caught his eye. Castrati had been a fixture in Italian music ever since the mid-16th century. So here's this. So you got these, during this period, that says the mid-16th century, like I said, they were castrating boys for music purposes. But that's I have to push back on that. And the book didn't really the book kind of just kind of just eased it in there. But I'm like, you have people of the religion sector and you have musicians. And it kind of goes into how we see it in today's society. These reverends, these preachers, and these musicians have this connection, man. This homosexuality, man, connection, man, it needs to be discussed, brother. It really needs to be discussed, man. Like, what the fuck? And the reason why I'm saying that is because they were castrating young men, young boys, just for their vocals, for their high-pitched vocals. Why? Because they didn't want women to sing. It seems a little odd, man. That seems a little odd to me, man. Now, if you don't want women to sing, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with that. That was what happened. How do I relate that to my first degree in theater and how I had to learn that women during those Greek moments or Greek theater moments or stage life or whatever you want to call it, women were not allowed to be actors. It was men and little boys, and the little boys portrayed the feminine characters because of their voice. So I don't agree or disagree. I'm just saying that's what happened. However, no one was castrated as far as my education, my formal education in theater. No one mentioned about boys being castrated. This is a different tone here. Now we're saying in the 16th century, they're saying that they castrated these boys just so that they could keep their high-pitched vocals. Now it sounds, you can kind of just say, yeah, that's fine, but I'm like, that's a bit excessive, brother. That you castrate a male, that does a lot of damage to a male. Think about that shit. Think about that. As a young man, And they were saying this is before you hit puberty, they would do these things. That would psychologically damage a young boy's mind and his body, his physical, everything about that boy. That would damage him. So I'm like, why would they fucking do that? So I'm not on board with them just saying, oh yeah, it was just for the music. I think it's something more deeper into that. And I'm gonna even go out on a limb and say it was more sexual with that and being involved in that. There was a lot of sexuality involved in that shit. I'm just, the book doesn't really go into that, but that's how I can lead my. That's what I can conclude from this. Once again, in my formal education with theater, women were not allowed to be actors. So they had the male actors, and then you had little boys playing feminine roles. However, no one mentioned that boys were castrated, and this is during the Greek time, the Greek period. So I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you castrate them? I know you saying that you want to keep their voices, but think about the long-term perspective of it. They didn't just do this for 1 year and said, okay, here we got this group of guys and okay, and then that's it. No, they were doing this shit, it said, from the 16th century. Castrati had been a fixture in Italian music ever since the mid 16th century. That's a long fucking time to be doing this. So you see the results of your actions. If you've done this with the first group of boys and you castrate them and those boys become adults, you can see what will happen in effect to these guys. So there's a lot of homosexual activity, and we'll say transgender activity. And then the book actually hints to some kind of conversations about that. I'll continue. The castration itself consists of removing the testicles or cutting the ducts that carry blood to them, usually with the patient insensate from opium. You're cutting the testicles. You're cutting the testicles. Wow. I mean, like, what the fuck? Like, whoa. Wow. So not only you have religion people involved in this, not only do you have singers involved in this, you have doctors, the medical community involved in this. The practice received religious blessing when in 1588, Pope Sixtus V took a verse from Corinthians. Let your women keep silence in church. It is not permitted unto them to speak, to ban women from choirs and stages. Their roles went instead to constrati. In time, some composers came to prefer the voices of constrati. So once again, you have the religious community signing off on this. You got the music community signing off on this. And the book doesn't say this, but this is implied that the medical community is signing off on this. You're cutting the testicles of these young boys. Bro, come on. Let's think about this. This is going to do psychological damage to these individuals. Their bodies are being affected. Their mental state are being affected. And you're just saying, oh, yeah, it's just for their voices. I'm like, no. There's some more. And here it is. Let me read a little bit further, and I'll explain why I derived. I kind of hinted to why I derived to this, but here we go. I can't even pronounce this opera, Monteverdi's opera La Orfeo, and this was in 1606. Featured their sweep, poignant. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Spine-tingling voices, and by the 17th century, Christoph Willibald Gluck and George Friedrich Handel. That name, George Frederick Handel, that's a famous name. I can't recall the music or anything like that. My first degree, when I first entered college or a university, when I first went to a university, Texas Southern University, I was a music major. And that name, George Frederick Handel, that name sounds super familiar. I cannot remember. This was shit. When I first got into the university, it was 2002. And that name, I'm like, that name sounds super familiar. But I'm saying that to say he was a part of this. So my formal education in theater, even though we didn't discuss this, maybe they did practice this shit. Cutting off testicles to keep boys with the high-pitched voices. Maybe they did. Because when I was a music major, no one ever mentioned George Frederick Handel being involved in cutting off young boys' testicles to keep their high-pitched voices. That wasn't discussed. So maybe that discussion, or maybe that was happening in the Greek period. I don't know now. I'm thinking about that as I speak or as I read. So, and George Frederick Handel were casting castrati in leading operatic roles. I cannot pronounce his name. Farinelli, Scalzi, Senecio were all celebrated castrati, in demand and wealthy. So these individuals, I don't know about all of the castrati, but these individuals, they were in demand and wealthy, with an appeal to women. And that's something that I noted too, with an appeal to women especially. Wow. Let's talk about that one, man. So you have women who wanted to sing. Because the reason why I concluded to that is because Teresa wanted to sing. That's why she went under the identity of Bellino. But you have women who wanted to sing. And although that all women didn't sing, you have women who, how did they found it appealing that these young boys were being castrated. They found that appealing. I'm like, whoa. Do we see that in today's time where women find young boys being, now that we have this, our society is more humane, if you will, do we see that women sign off on boys being castrated? And how about this? Let's say it this way. Do we see women being involved in young boys transitioning? How about that? I like that idea. Let's ask it that way. Do we see it in today's time where women are being very influential in the transition of boys becoming girls, or transitioning, if you will? And I'm going to say yes. I don't see a lot of guys. So I just took a trip to Idaho Falls, in Idaho, obviously. And the day that I left, you could hear fireworks. But the day that I left, I was checking out my hotel and I was walking out, and they were having some sort of parade, and it was LGBTQ, so on and so forth parade, right? And I noticed one thing, that when I was leaving, I noticed one particular thing. It was majority women involved in that parade. And I did see the gay flag, and I also saw the transgender flag. And when I look at television, films, and things of that nature, I noticed that women are very supportive of this type of activity. I noticed that. Have you noticed that, or am I just going crazy? I don't think I'm going crazy. I noticed that women are very supportive of these activities, and guys are not so supportive. Let me know what you think about that. But they said they found it appealing. The women found it appealing. So appealing is a. Let me look up the word appealing, because appealing has an undertone of pleasure in it. That's how I'm looking at appealing. When they say appealing. Yeah, let's look it up together. Let me put it on a big screen because I don't want to not include you guys in what I'm looking at. Appealing definition. Yeah, just as I thought, the word appealing has a connotation to it being pleasurable, if you will. Let's take a look at this. All right, hopefully you can see my screen. So I typed in appealing definition, and the dictionary says appealing, attractive, or interesting. Similar words: inviting, attractive, tempting, appetizing. Is that what I'm looking at? Enticing, seductive. So yeah, these are words of pleasure, yo. These words of pleasure. So I have to ask, man, do women find and I don't want to say transgenderism, because they're not transgender, but however, they're still youthful. And how it was described here with Casanova, it said instead of an actress, he noticed a youth of indeterminate gender who struck him as ravishingly handsome. So the gender, you can't really disguise or determine the gender. Do women find that appealing? Do women find that attractive? Wow. So I tried looking up a lot of videos and everything. I couldn't find any relatable videos to this type of context or this content that I'm presenting. I couldn't find anything in depth or in detail or videos to connect it visually. But I like I said, I see women being more supportive of this. Now I have to ask, do women... Now, I have heard some information that women do sleep with gay guys, and that, let me continue, because that's what happened. That's what happened with Teresa. I don't have to look at the text. That's what happened with Teresa. That's how she got involved with the guy. He was a castrati, but he was an older male, and she slept with that older male. And the text... She was, I want to say, she was 16 and he was an older guy. And she found it very pleasurable having that sexual experience. So much so, she found it better having sex with him than how they described it, her first love, if you will. So even the text describes her experience with a castrati pleasurable. She found it very pleasurable. They were saying how it would usually be kind of not pleasant, if you will, or it wouldn't seem as a good experience. But she, in the text, said it was a really good experience. So I'm starting to think that maybe women do prefer having sex with maybe feminine men. Maybe trans women, maybe, I don't know any other words, femboys, maybe cross dressers, maybe they do. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have what's the word? Women, first of all, I don't hang out with a lot of women. I don't have any sisters. I'm a single male. I don't have any girlfriends. The JUCO experiences that I do have, it's not a It's not to the point to where they just open up and tell me about all of their experiences. Now they do share some information, but it's not to it's not to this degree. So I have no idea. I'm not a guy where women just open up to me and just start talking to me. So I have no idea. But the little bit of information that I'm gathering, stuff like this from this text, things that I'm hearing, I hear that like in Atlanta, the women down there, they be sleeping. This is what I hear. I have not seen or heard any physical evidence of a woman saying, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I haven't seen that or heard that. But I hear that the women in Atlanta, Georgia, they are they tend to sleep with those guys that are quote unquote gay or gay. They sleep with those guys. That's what I hear. I don't know how accurate that shit is. Let me know, man. I really want to know. I'm on the dark side and I want to learn this shit. But yeah, let me continue, man. But that's something I highlighted. I was like, yo, women find that appealing. They find that attractive. Wow. Man. Oh, here's another name drop that was involved in this shit. In years to come, even Napoleon would become a connoisseur of castrati. Yo, man, we gotta talk about this shit, man. We gotta talk about this, man. I was not gonna play this video with Andrew Tate, but I don't even want to go there. Let me just stick right here, and then maybe we'll talk about this stuff. But here's another fucking name, Napoleon. If you don't, I don't know the historical aspect of his full history, but I know Napoleon is I don't want to say polarizing, but Napoleon is a very well-known figure in terms of being of war and being, a dominant force. So here it is. This is something weird. In years to come, even Napoleon would become a connoisseur of castrati, known by genteel euphemism of musical or occasionally Everardo. According to one estimate, no fewer than 4,000 boys were castrated each year at about the time Casanova encountered Bellino. They performed throughout Europe, but they were particularly popular in Italy. Although some people rivaled castrati as homosexuals, many, if not most castrati, identified as heterosexuals, to the point of boasting of their exploits with women. But with their immature genitalia combined with prohibition on them marrying, they couldn't even marry, bro. Such escapades probably owe more to legend than to reality. Wow. So the book even casts doubt on these guys talking about their sexual escapades. And then later on, when I told you about how Teresa had that experience with the let me see if I can get his name for you. Get this old guy's name. His name was Salembini. Wow. So Teresa liked the experience with him because he didn't boast. She enjoyed her sexual experience with him because he did not boast. So that's what makes me believe that these guys, I'm not saying all these guys were homosexuals, but that makes me believe that there was something else behind their experiences or their quote unquote boasting about their experiences. Like I said, man, that's psychologically affecting these young men, man. Think about that shit. Man, that's deep, bro. I was like, man, that's crazy, yo. And I couldn't find anything relevant to today's scenario because we don't quote unquote castrate boys. But I do think that what we do is a soft way of castrating boys. Not all boys. What I'm saying is we give medications. I don't know all of the medical term. We have these. Some boys have estrogen now. Oh, they put it in our foods and shit now. So you got soy. Excuse me. They got soy boys. I've heard that name, soy boys. So you got a lot of ways around attacking the masculinity, if you will, of boys. I've noticed that shit. So you got the foods, you got these medications, what do they call them? Hormone blockers. They got things of that nature that's affecting the masculinity of boys, man. It's a crazy world, brother. It's a crazy fucking world, man. Let's see. Let me skip down because I want to get to a little bit more. This kind of talks about how Casanova we know that Bellino is Teresa. Teresa is pretending to be Bellino, and it talks about the two sisters. Casanova fucks them. He fucks them both. He fucks them. If not together, he fucked them. No, it was one by one. He fucked him one night, and then he fucked the other one the second night. The second experience was even better than the first night. The second girl was like, "Yo, I'm really good at this shit," and Casanova was like, yeah. And she proved like, "Yo, I'm about that shit." So, yeah, and then that's when Teresa noticed the shit. Teresa wasn't really mad, you know. I highlighted another part here. I highlighted this part because I didn't really understand it. There's another part. He said, at supper, Bellino, whether from whim or ruse, appeared dressed as a girl. So I didn't understand that part. Why would he dress? Why would Teresa dress as a girl if you're trying to portray yourself as Bellino? I didn't get that part. There's a lot of ambiguity, if you will. Because even in the previous streams that I did about this, there was a time where I forgot what was the chick name. She really wanted Casanova to dress as a girl and come to a party, and the family that Casanova was with, which is the girl's family, they applauded that shit. And I'm like, I'm not against or for it. I mean, once again, I'm a libertine. In terms of this text, I'm like, shit, do what you do, man. But Casanova didn't seem to be thrilled about doing it, if I can remember correctly. So it's a lot of switcheroo here, and it's hard for me to follow. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Let's get to another point that I found. Okay, so this is the part where I wanted to get to with Casanova, man. So once again, the title I put Bellino ? Teresa ? Both ? So Casanova at this time, he's trying to figure out, man, is this a girl, boy? He has a sense that it's a girl, but he's still pursuing and trying to find out, right? Let me read a bit of this to give a little bit more context about what I'm talking about. Casanova shifted his hand. So this is where he's becoming more assertive in trying to find out who this person is. So Casanova shifted his hand to the place where I should find out if I was right or wrong. But Bellino blocked the maneuver, and when he ordered Bellino to remove his hand, Bellino refused. For I see you are in a state that horrifies me. Casanova collected himself and tried to thrust his hand down Bellino's back, only to be blocked again. But he felt, and they put ... something. It was at this moment I saw he was a man. Okay? Casanova says, okay, I feel something. The shock was overwhelming. Casanova described himself as astonished, angered, mortified, disgusted. So I put a question mark there. I was like, why would Casanova find himself as astonished, angered, mortified, disgusted. Why? Well, you would think just by this context, you'd be like, hey, he found out. Oh, you know how they say, oh man, I found out you a guy. Oh shit. Oh man, oh shit, right? But I just told you, well, if you remember, I told you earlier in chapters maybe 1 or 2, the first experience he had, it was with a guy. Not the first experience he had. It was an experience he had with a guy, in which got his ass not kicked out of being a young priest or being in the training. He got in trouble twice because the first time the person caught him, like a pope or some shit like that, caught his ass, and the pope was like, hey man, all is well, I just need you to repent, right? So he was forgiven for his actions. But then Casanova did his shit again. So I'm like, what the fuck, right? And then I told you about the second experience, but he didn't actually have sex with this person, but he actually had sex with a woman, or girl, excuse me. But he was also thinking about this person who looked like a man, looked like a boy, girl. It was confusing to him, but he was like, man, he was contemplating having sex with that person, right? So now I'm like, why would Casanova describe himself as an astonished, angered, mortified, disgusted? Why? That's why I'm like, yo, why are you doing this, brother? And I'm like, let me be a little bit more considerate to him because he's still youthful and he's experiencing these things. But I'm like, man, I can't really give you a pass though, bro, because you had these experiences in the past. You've had these experiences in the past. So why in the fuck are you freaking the fuck out now? Like, I didn't get that. So I'm like, what the fuck, bro? All right, so let me continue. There's another part right here when I highlighted. I'm not going to read it all, but I'm going to just read a sentence above it. Actually, I'll read a little bit of it. Casanova blurted out that he needed to fondle Bellino's member to convince himself that this is what I'm talking about, Casanova. Like, come on, bro. Like, I don't want to say come out the closet because that sounds insensitive for me to say. However, I'm saying like, bro, like if you are astonished from the first reaction, walk away. He didn't walk away. He's still persistent. Casanova blurted out that he needed to fondle Bellino's member to convince himself that whatever he'd seen in private wasn't a monstrous clitoris. And so he reached again for Bellino. He reached again. And whatever it was that Casanova grasped persuaded him that Bellino was, in fact, a man. So you did it again. You fucking did it again, man. You touched him. Casanova could never love him. That is an abomination for which God be praised. I feel no inclination. I put a question mark there. I'm like, why are you saying this, bro? Why are you saying this? Why, bro? Why? I'm like, bro, you doing it again, man. You're doing it again. You had those two previous experiences. Now you see, first of all, you're involved in this situation where you're like, man, I don't know if this is a boy or girl, but you're still so intrigued that you're still pressing. And then you have the experience. You find out, okay, wait, something's wrong. And then you still persist. Why are you saying that it's an abomination for which God be praised? Why are you doing that? Why are you saying you're astonished, angered, mortified, disgusted? Why are you doing that? Why? I have to say this shit now. Why in the fuck do guys in our day and time, why do we fucking do this? If you're fucking gay, if you like transgender women, whatever it is, that's what you fucking like, bro. But this contradictory ass bullshit you doing, bro. It's very cowardice, if you will. Very fucking cowardice, man. Rappers, man. I grew up listening to hip hop, man. I grew up listening to hip hop, man. And when I think about it, even with the Diddy trial, man, we learn a lot about these rappers and shit, bro. Like they come out with this masculinity. I'm raw, I shoot him. I'm like, bro, but the truth is coming out, man. You're not about that life. You're not about that fucking life, man. So why are you portraying one thing, but you're living another way? Why, bro? Why, man? I told you when I be playing my PlayStation, I stream. Some of these guys be saying the weirdest shit. I'm like, bro, why are you saying that shit to me, bro? Why are you even saying that shit? That's some weird ass shit, and I don't understand us guys, bro. I don't understand. I'm trying to understand masculinity. I'm trying to understand what the fuck are we doing, man? You know what? I might show the motherfucking I don't want to show the clip because it's on Ben Shapiro's channel, and I don't want to get blocked or I don't want to get banned. I don't know much about Ben Shapiro. However, I do know that he is, if I'm not mistaken, he's very conservative. And he talked about it. I didn't really want to hear his opinion about it, but he showed the clip of Andrew Tate saying that would you rather sleep with a 10 that's a transgender or a woman that's a 1? I want to show the clip and give my perspective on it, but I don't want to get banned. And I try looking around, not banned. I don't want to get blocked. I don't know him like that, Ben Shapiro. I don't know him like that. I don't know how he would react. I don't know. I thought that would have been a great clip to show. But there seemed to be a war amongst us men. Like, what the fuck, man? There's this beef. Not beef. There's this war that we have, man. You know, you got some guys, Ben Shapiro's, that's like, no, that, you know, they throw the God card in there and blah, blah. I don't know. I didn't hear his interview. I did not hear his interview, but I'm certain that he's going to be on the conservative side and he's going to be, he's not going to be with that shit, right? So that's one perspective. Then you have Andrew Tate coming out saying these things like, hey, like, yo, why wouldn't you sleep with a 10 that's a transgender, right? Right? So that's another perspective. And then you have perspectives of the young generation, Gen Z. They're coming out doing different things. I'm going to say there's the old generation. Shit, name dropping right here, man. You had Napoleon. You had fucking George Frederick Handel. You had all of these motherfuckers who participated in this bullshit. Castrating boys. They weren't just doing it. Oh, you're a good singer. Yeah, I'm guarantee you, man. They were fucking these kids, bro. And they were fucking these when they became adults. They were fucking with these people, man. We need to have this conversation. Like, what the fuck, man? Where are we going with this shit, yo? Like, what the fuck, man? I'm calling out all motherfuckers, and I'm not here to expose motherfuckers. I'm just here to have the conversation. Like, what the fuck, man? You got motherfuckers in jail, but they're doing gay ass shit, right? They're doing their activities. We know that they're doing some activities. I'm not saying all guys are doing that activities, but we know that shit is happening. But I don't hear nobody disrespecting those guys in jail, though. I don't hear nobody disrespecting those guys. Why is that? If you're so against gay and all of this, you throwing the God card in this shit, you doing all of this shit, but you don't disrespect those guys in jail, though. I never heard one guy say, yo, those guys in jail, blah, 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 blah. I never hear that shit. Why is that? But on the outside, you hear motherfuckers, oh, that's this. You know, I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on, man? As men, I'm like, yo, man, we can't lead the way because we fucked up. We got a lot of bullshit ass activities happening, bro. We got a lot of coward ass motherfuckers, man. We have a lot of coward ass dudes, bro. Hiding behind bullshit. Like, bro, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. If that's what you do and that's what you like, I'm not telling you what to do. However, if you're saying one message but then you're doing a different message, that's conflicting, man. That's a contradictory in itself. We see these things. We have preachers being exposed and doing all this. Like, yo, you're saying that you are a man of faith and all this bullshit, but then you're getting, you have your undercover life, if you will. Which one is it, bro? Which one is it, man? As men, what are we fucking doing, bro? What is it, man? I told you. I gave the on my previous streams. The what's the guy named Bobby? Shit. We see it all in these skits, man. Guys doing this bullshit, but then they say that's gay. Which one is it, bro? You gonna participate in this shit, or you gonna be a conservative ass dude and say no to none of it? Which one is it, bro? I don't know, man. I don't know. And that's why I don't participate in that bullshit. I'm like, man, fuck all that bullshit. I'ma just be me and do me and have my own fucking thoughts. Because I don't understand you motherfuckers, man. I don't understand what it is and what it means to be a man. Because the definition is so fucking skewed, bro. Do you define a man by his genitalia? Do you define a man by his hard work and taking care of himself if he has a family? How do you define a fucking man, bro? I don't fucking get it, bro. Do you define a man by if he has wealth or not? Which one is it, bro? Which one is it, man? You got guys that's in jail and you talk about you don't like homosexuality, but some of those guys are performing those acts in jail. Do you call them not a man? And would you be willing to stand in their face and say that you are not a man? Which one is it, bro? I'm tired of the contradictory, man. I'm tired of this bullshit humanity that we have going on, man. One day it's one thing, the next day it's another. It's so fucking confusing, man. That's what I'm talking about with Casanova. I know he's a young man and he's going through all of these experiences. However, bro, you're throwing the God card in this shit, bro. This is an abomination for which God be praised. I feel no inclination. What the fuck, bro? Come on, man. We got to talk about this shit, bro. And no man is willing to talk about it. I don't know what Ben Shapiro said. I don't know. I don't follow his content because I'm not a conservative. I don't want to hear their perspective because I already know it's going to be God. And we know, we're finding out that these guys that are conservatives and conservative and married men, they do a lot of fucking dirt. We know that they do dirt. We're learning this. So I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm not talking about you, Ben Shapiro particularly, but I'm talking about this bullshit ass idea of being a conservative and having these strict ways. I'm like, bro, we're learning about a lot of you motherfuckers, man. We're learning that the OnlyFans subscribers are majority married men. So I'm like, bro, what the fuck, man? Humanity is so fucking weird, dog. It's fucking weird. Like Casanova, bro. Like, bro, you're 18. You're living your life, bro. Just do what you do, but just be secure in yourself as a young man. This shit is weird, bro. This shit is weird to me, man. You know what? There's a video. Let me see if I can log in on my account. Man, I ain't got time because then I gotta look for the shit. But I'm just weirded out with guys, man. I'm talking to us men. I'm like, what are we doing, man? Is there a standard? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing, man? What is it gonna be? Which one is it, man? Which one is it, man? You criticize a guy for doing certain actions, but I'm like, bro, you contradict yourself by doing the opposite. I don't know, man. It's weird, bro. This is a weird subject, man. And it blew my mind because I'm like, Casanova, man. Casanova, bro. You've already had these experiences. Like, come on, man. Which one is it? I mean, live your life, brother. You are an adventurer. You even said it later in the chapter. You was like, one of the popes came to you and you was like, yo, I'm an adventurer. That's fine. Be an adventurer. But when you get presented with these circumstances, these situations, when you put yourself in these situations, I'm like, bro, why are you freaking the fuck out? Why are you bugging the fuck out? He described himself as astonished, angered, mortified, disgusted. Why, bro? Why? Why are you disgusted? I'm like, bro, come on, man. Come on, man. We got to talk about this shit. Let me go on. Let me see. I'm already an hour in. Holy fuck. And here's the thing. Oh, girl challenges him. Check this out. She challenges him. I highlighted this part. So he goes, they're finding out what's happening. But it says, at this point, Bellino announced flatly, "You are in love with me whether I'm a girl or a boy." That's my point right there. That's my point. She was like, "Yo, you fucking love me. You fucking love me, fool." I wish I had that clip. You fucking love me, fool. Like, she was like, "Yo, whether I'm a girl or boy, I got you. I got you. You already know what it is. Like, why are we playing these games, yo? Why, bro? Why are we playing these games, man?" Then I put another question mark. He said, "All I ask of you is to let me." This is what he says. This is what. I'll read that part again with Teresa or Bellino. At this point, Bellino announced flatly, "You are in love with me whether I'm a girl or a boy." The two of them continued their quarrel with mounting fury. This is Casanova now. "All I ask of you is to let me touch an object that cannot but fill me with disgust." All I ask of you is to let me touch an object that cannot but fill me with disgust. I'll read that one more time to make sure I'm not tripping out, bro. He says, "All I ask of you is to let me touch an object that cannot but fill me with disgust." What the fuck, man? Like, come on, man. Teresa saying like, "Yo, I'm your type. Stop fucking denying it, man." And he's still playing these games. But eventually he finds out that, eventually they have sex and he finds out that that she's a girl, right? He has a sense that she's a girl. But there's another part that I want to highlight here as well. That's very intriguing. That's just a question that they're saying. I'll just read this part. It says, "The question of Bellino's true nature was settled at last when they fucked. But the question of Casanova's identity, the question of Casanova's identity proved more stubborn to resolve. Was he a priest or a libertine? An aristocrat or, I believe this word is, I listened to the word earlier, but I forgot how to pronounce it. Plebeian? I don't know. I forgot what it meant. But he's having this war, man. He's having this war right here within himself. Let me continue, man. This kind of talks about when Salambini, the old castrated guy, I'll read this chapter, but he's having sex with Teresa, and this is how they came about. But I'll read it. I got time. Fuck it. When she was 12, Salambini, a well-known castrato, lodged at her house and taught her to sing and play the harpsichord. As her musical abilities increased, she and Salambini became intimate. Castrato or not, he claimed her virginity. I did not feel ashamed to grant it to him. This is Teresa. I did not feel ashamed to grant it to him. Indeed, she worshipped him. It was a strange, ambiguous introduction to sex to be a mistress of a man who was old enough to be her father, yet whose masculinity was compromised. So she recognized that. I said earlier that affects a man, but it affects their masculinity. Men like yourself are certainly to be preferred to men like my first lover, she explained. But Salambini was an exception. He was attractive, talented, sensitive, generous, and discreet. Women threw themselves at him, Yet he never boasted of his conquest, and still he was a castrato. His mutilation made him a monster, she admitted, but a monster of adorable qualities. Like, wow, man. Wow. That's intriguing to me, man. Like, that women would find that appealing, man. They find that sexy. She gave up her virginity for that shit. She gave up her virginity for it. That's interesting, man. That's very interesting. I'll continue, man. I'll keep reading. Just a little bit more, and then we'll call it an end, because that kind of talks about the rest. I kind of covered the rest of the story. There's some in between things. Man, Casanova, man, he experiences a lot of shit, man. He's, for a young guy, he's always finding himself into shit, man. But you know what it is why he finds himself in these situations. He's a young man who, like myself, like any young man, that testosterone, man, that drive, man. And we talked about that I got the book, Outwitting the Devil. Napoleon Hill, I believe is his name. I have the book, and I should start reading that too. But like us young men, man, we have this fucking testosterone, man. We want to fuck any and every fucking thing, man. We want to fuck. And that's Casanova right now. I mean, this dude, he's so sex driven. Like, he just wants to fuck, man. Fuck. But he's just finding himself in these situations, man. And it's crazy because this guy, Casanova, didn't come from a strong background. His background is terrible. He even admits it. And old girl knows it. But being a priest is his way out, if you will. But he's fucking it up. He's fucking it up because he wants to fuck every fucking thing. I'm like, damn, man. He comes from nothing. But he had his way out when a friend of the family told him to anyway, he gets his way out through priesthood. That's his way out. But his sex drive is so strong, man. The dude just want to fuck. And that's what keeps his mind, which I understand, man. I mean, those hormones, man, as a young man, it's crazy, man. You just want to fuck. I totally understand. It's raging inside of you. You like, I mean, I get it, bro. I totally get it. And I'm going to have to talk about the perspective 40 and up from that perspective. I'll do that tomorrow. Let's do that tomorrow. Let's do that fucking tomorrow. The perspective of the drive of 40 and up. When you're 18, man, it's powerful, man. That drive, that testosterone, whatever you want to call it, that you just like, you want to knock down some shit. So I get it, man. But he's fucking it up because he doesn't have anything. He has nothing. He's finding himself in weird situations. He's living house to house. He's finding himself in jail and shit. He's finding himself in trouble because his lust is driving him. He's a young man. Damn, man. That makes me think about myself, man, because I'm like, bro, I didn't have a father. I didn't have a father to guide me, man. That's one thing I like about this, reading this Casanova, because I'm like, bro, it's a lot of us like that, man. Nature is just taking over us and we can't think. All we want to do is fuck at a young age. That shit is dry. It's powerful, man. And this dude is finding himself, he's losing, man. He's losing because his lust is taking over. Right now, he has nobody. He's just wandering. He's an adventurer. He even admits it. He admits it. He finds himself in a city I want to say his hometown, but it says in the Piazza San Marco, he encountered the Abate Grimani, who greeted him with boisterous good humor, surprised him only by the military uniform Casanova affected. The younger man explained that he had abandoned the church to become an adventurer. Like, damn, man. These adventures can be fun, bro. They can be fun, man. They can be fun. I think Casanova is enjoying himself. And despite of what I'm trying to critique him on, I think he is enjoying himself. I think he is. Let me be honest, man. When I was 18, bro, the thrill is fun. Chasing, just being out there, it's fun. It's fun. Being in the streets is fun. You 18, going to parties. You know, I wasn't drinking until 2021, maybe 22. I want to say 22. So going to clubs, that was exciting to me. Just being in a club. I could be at 18, 19, being in the club. I didn't have to have drinks. I started drinking when I was like 21, 22. I want to say 22. Something like that. But just that thrill. I'm 18, I'm in a club. Seeing women and shit. Like, wow, that thrill, man. Casanova is experiencing that. But the bad thing about it is, just like with me, I had no one to say, slow down, man. Wait, slow down. As much as you can. Outwitting the Devil. I have to read that. I have the book. I have the fucking book. I have the fucking book. God damn, it's right here. I have not started reading it. Napoleon Hill. I have the book. I gotta read this. I'll start reading this tomorrow. We'll talk about the 40 and up, and we're gonna read one chapter starting tomorrow with this. We'll talk about this. This is I'm glad I'm sharing this with y'all, man. That is the flaw. It ain't about him having sex with a guy, girl, transgender. That ain't the issue, man. That's some basic bullshit, to be honest with you. That shit is basic, man. To me, that's basic, bro. You have sex with whoever you want to have sex with, but be careful and have the responsibility about who you want to have sex with. Just be careful and be mindful of the responsibility that comes with it. Yes, we do sometimes, let's be honest, man. As a man, sometimes we out there, we having a good time too. And, lust takes over. Yes, we got that. So that's my position. If you ever want to fucking know my position on this, I told you I'm a libertine. What is the fucking definition of a libertine again? Let me show you where I am with mine. If you just want to know. Libertine. Let's look it up together. If you just want to know where I stand with this, and I said it in my previous streams, I'm on the dark side. I'm on the dark side. So I'm learning, and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know there was an option. There was a video I saw on Instagram yesterday, and this lady, it was a guy. They do these street interviews. Hey, they ask these ladies these weird questions, right? And the guy was like, "What's the freakiest thing you ever done?" And she was like, she was the cook. I was like, whoa, like, wow. I never thought about that shit. I never imagined a woman being a cook. We always talk about the guy being a cook, but I was like, whoa, wow. A woman saying, hey, a woman admitting on camera, she's saying that she wants to watch her man have sex with other women. I was like, whoa. Wow. So that's a new perspective. I was like, wow, I never thought about that shit. That's what I mean about being on the dark side. For me, I'm like, I'm learning these things. Like I'm very intrigued about human sexuality. I love that shit because I'm like, yo, there's so many ways that we try to find pleasure. All I ask is for myself, and if I'm having experiences, let's just be as safe as possible, meaning there's no craziness that someone dies, someone goes to jail. I don't want any of that. I want it to be a pleasurable experience and we enjoy each other and we can share that experience, and then we can talk about that shit. I like that idea. Let me tell you what a libertine is. And libertine comes from the Casanova book. That word comes from that book. That's where I got the term from. So check it out. All right. Hopefully you can see my screen. A libertine, and I'll play the word for you just so that you can hear it.
Libertine.
Excuse me, libertine. I'm glad I corrected myself. Libertine. Holy fuck. I keep saying libertine is libertine. I know somebody was like, yo, it's libertine, motherfucker. Anyway, it says a person, especially a man, who behaves without moral principles. I told you, I don't abide. I don't play the moral aspect of things, because I'm like, whose moral aspect are we going by? What is the barometer? Who's the measure? What morals are we going by? So I don't play the moral bullshit or a sense of responsibility. And that part, I was like, I do want to be responsible. Like I said, I want to make sure that, like, aftercare. That's a part of my thing. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams, who taught me about. I'll go to the big screen right for a quick second right here. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. This is what I mean about being a man in leadership. I had no one talk to me about aftercare. Nobody. I'm 40 years old and I'm just learning about aftercare. That's crazy. That's what I mean about being a man and sharing wisdom with guys. Like, yo, sharing wisdom. Yo, aftercare. If you don't know what it is, and I'm just going to give a brief example of what I mean, what I understand aftercare is. I'm participating. Well, I don't think I'm going to participate anytime soon. Maybe my last experience may be coming in a few days. Who knows? But anyway, when you're intimate with a woman, and after the experience or the climax, if you will, that's not the ending of the experience. I'll say that again. So when you guys, I'm just talking to the guys. I don't know what the ladies do. Fellas, when you getting the girl is one task in itself. However you want to get it. I don't insist on the cold approach, trying to cold mac and use your mouthpiece. I'm not saying all of that. I'm not with that bullshit. But I'm saying you getting the process of getting the date with the woman. So you get her attention, y'all link up, y'all have sex, right? You get your nut. Hopefully she's busting plenty nuts as well, right? It doesn't end there for you, fellas. It does not end after you get your nut. That is not where it ends. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. It does not end there. It ends when you make sure she's safe, she's secure, and you get confirmation for your benefit that she's safe and she had a decent time, a good time, so on and so forth. However you want to word it, you want to make sure she's safe and that you get confirmation from her that she had a decent time, a good time, it was a great experience, whatever the wording you want to use, that she found it pleasurable. Why do I say that? Because Coach is showing case after case, evidence after evidence. Women can go down the line. Y'all can have sex today, yesterday, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, 6 years ago, whatever the case may be. Women can always go back and say, you know what? I was sexually assaulted. They can always retract the experience. They can always change that shit up. Aftercare, fellas. That is why it's important to provide aftercare, man. I learned that, man. I'm just 40 years old and I'm learning that shit. To save my own fucking self from bullshit. Because she might feel a certain way later down the line and say, you know what? I don't like how he did X, Y, Z. And then she'll come back and lay all kinds of claims. Aftercare, fellas. That's why I for myself, I make sure I'm like, yo, I just want to make sure you get home safely. Let me know you made it safely. I'm always providing aftercare. Is there anything you need? Can I get you some water? How you feeling? I'm trying to provide as much aftercare. Hey, I thought about you. I want to give you this, to let you know that I appreciate your time, so on. So I try to do as much as I can to provide aftercare. Hey, let me know you made it safely. Oh, you made it safely. All right, great. Thank you so much for the great time. I hope you had a great time as well. I hope to see you again if we can. I try to secure the experience. That's what I mean about responsibility. That's why. Let's go back to the definition. So that's one part of this definition I'm like, I don't agree with. Right here, how they say, or a sense of responsibility, especially. No, I want to take responsibility, man. Because I don't want that shit to come back on me, man, with some bullshit. Now, these other similar definitions I did not agree with. A philanderer, a ladies' man, a playboy. Yeah, I'm not saying any of this. I'm not putting myself in any of this. Skirt chaser, no. I'm not saying any of this. What I am saying is that I'm a person who is behaving without the moral principles that are given by whoever. I'm not going by somebody else's moral principles. I'm not doing that. But I like this definition right here. This part 2. Hopefully you can see that. A person who rejects accepted opinions in matter of religion. Yes, I don't want your religious perspective on my sexual life. I reject that shit. I don't want your morals. I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm not having sex with your religion. I don't give a fuck about your religion. I don't give a fuck, man. I don't care, bro. I don't care. I don't care because your religion is not giving me any solid foundation. No physical evidence is not giving me no secure logic is not giving me anything. You're just passing down stories after stories after stories, and you have not proven anything. So I cannot follow your religion. So that's why I say that I am a libertine. Let me make sure I said the word right again.
Libertine.
Yes, a libertine. This is the definition part right I really love. A person who rejects accepted opinions in matters of religion. I am a free thinker. I'm a free thinker. I want to think for myself. I want to create my own identity. That's what I was trying to get to with Casanova. I'm like, bro, you're experiencing these things. Create your identity. Create that. Create that. You make your own path, your own lane. Don't worry about it. I mean, he's fighting a lot of things. So I understand that. But that's what I'm talking about for myself. I'm a free thinker. I want to say, oh, okay, wow. I never knew those certain aspects of sexuality was an option. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. A woman who says she would like to watch me have sex with other women. She doesn't want to participate. She just wants to watch. Wow. Okay. I didn't even know that was a thing. How many women think that way? I'm curious about that. Another one, part of the definition says characterized by a disregard of morality. That's me. I don't go by morality. I don't go by morality, especially in sexual matters. That's me. That is me. I don't give a fuck about your moral beliefs when it comes to my sexual behavior, my sexual interest. I don't give a fuck what your morals are. Everyone's morals, the people who create the morals are the ones who's doing the opposite. Free thinker in matters of religion. Yes. Yes. That is my definition right there. I wanted to talk more about the Casanova situation, but I kind of went as much as in depth that I could about it, man. So in a nutshell, Casanova has this experience with Bellino, who turns out to be Teresa. And he keeps saying he's in love. You'll see that term love. Oh, he's in love with this person. He's in love with this person. He's in love with this person. He's always in love with somebody, bro. He was in love with Teresa. He was in love with Chicks back in the other chapters. I mean, he's all over the place, man. Which I understand because he's not thinking here. He's lusting. He's like, nasty boys in the building. Yeah, man. So I understand. This is where I'm going to start in tomorrow. Outwitting the devil. The secrets to freedom and success. Yes. And that is what Casanova is missing. So I'm reading the book, and I'm like, wow, I'm learning about his sexual escapades, if you will. They're very unique, if you will. They're very interesting. And how he's able to successfully complete these things. Like he's knocking off sisters, yo. I can honestly say I've never knocked off sisters, and they know about it. He ain't lying about it. He's like, oh, okay, yeah. He had threesomes with some sisters. Like, I've never had those experiences. I didn't even know that was a possibility. I do know of a personal situation. Oh, man. So it is. Yes. I won't go into that one. That one's pretty deep there. So yeah, it's not always what it's cracked up to be. Let me say it that way. It's not always what it's cracked up to be. Yeah. And that's a part of when I think about this scenario about responsibility. But then again, when I think about that scenario in Casanova, they damn near kind of line up in a sense. Only difference is this guy is older. Casanova is 18. The similarities in the guys, and I'm saying that they were very the same in guys, but meaning from the same perspective of these guys are bums. Casanova is a bum right now. He's a bum. He's 18, maybe 19, 20 tops. He has no home. He has no place to stay. He's always finding himself in trouble. The guy that I know who's done something of the sort, if I know correctly, the last time I heard about this guy, he's living off the woman. He's living off the woman. Bum activities, man. Bum. So yes. So Casanova is lacking, man. And I'm not pointing my finger at any guy. I'm actually pointing the fingers at myself. 18, I did have my own place at 18. I had my place at 19. I had my place for a long time. I had joined the military at 23, maybe 22, 23. Had my place. But what I'm saying is I was so focused on partying and just trying to fuck somebody, trying to fuck. In my case, I was unsuccessful. I wasn't that guy. I wasn't Casanova. I didn't complete my missions. I had a lot of sleepless nights and so on and so forth, man. Like, man, damn. I grew up in a culture where I had to, if you wasn't trying to cold mac and use your mouthpiece, so I grew up in a wrong. I wasn't that guy. I'm still not that guy. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be me. I want to be a man of success. I want to be the man that knows the secrets to freedom and success. That's where my mind is. Fuck trying to be the man. Fuck that shit. I don't want to be broke. Casanova broke. He's laying in people's houses. People has to give him money to survive. So yeah, join me tomorrow, man. We're about to talk about the first chapter of this, and we'll talk about 40 and up on the sex drive. We'll talk about that shit. We'll do that, man. Hopefully you tune in, and it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm so glad that I talked about that shit, man. Man, that's Casanova, bro. He is really he's finding himself in a lot of situations. So I'm glad I cleared that up because I didn't want it to be the topic about him sleeping with a guy, girl. And I don't want that's so childish and basic, if you will, man. Guys need to grow the fuck up. And that's my point of with Casanova, man. Like, seriously, like, be in your identity, man, and live in that shit and just live and do you. But this is the bigger one right here. Living in success. Casanova ain't living in success. So that's my point. So yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow, man. This is going. That's so great. I've been wanting to read this shit for the longest, bro. And Coach always talking about Napoleon Hill, but my mind is always on other shit. So yeah, man, check me out tomorrow, man. It's going to be great, man. As always, I appreciate you for tuning in. Hit the fucking like button for me, man. Send me some comments, man. Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you have not done so. I really appreciate that shit. As always, man, peace.
Just let me eat you one time. You gonna sleep for 3 days, my baby. I'm gonna make you cry.
How you gonna show us?
Ay, ay, ay.